3, 2, 1. What up? Hello, and welcome to another episode of The World of Japanese Cinema, the show you come to for all your updates on Japanese classics and why you should watch them. I am, as usual, joined again by the legend Adam.
I am.
Yes, we're both finished.
I am said legend.
He is. We have both finished our assignments and exams. What a time it's been. I need this.
My goodness.
We need this Asahi right now. Yes.
So good.
Let's clink this shit.
It's the first beer since.
It's not mine, definitely not.
No, yeah.
This guy found me. This guy found me drunk, passed out on the couch a couple nights ago.
He looked very happy and very comfortable.
Yeah, I just crammed a massive pizza just before I crashed. Yeah.
It was a beautiful pizza bite sitting next to
Oh yeah, that was amazing. But anyway, the film we're gonna look at today, this classic that it's again a classic that neither of us have seen before.
Mm-hmm.
It's but yeah, it's another film that was directed by Takeshi Kitano, who also made Boiling Point that we did last week.
And I did get confirmation he's the same Takeshi from Takeshi's Castle, if anybody's ever seen it.
Yeah. This film is the one that he made after Boiling Point. It's called Sonatine, I think that's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
It is another Yakuza drama. And so yeah, let's get right into the plot. Again, Mr. Kitano, he's also the main role as the last film. He was the infamous villain, but now he's more of a sort of nihilistic anti-hero in this one.
Mm-hmm. Far more sympathetic, I feel like.
Yeah. But anyway, he is called Murakawa, who is a Tokyo-based Yakuza. He has grown tired of gangster life, and he's sent by his boss to Okinawa to mediate a dispute between their allies. Mm-hmm. So Murakawa openly suspects the assignment is an attempt to have him removed, and he ends up he beats up Takahashi, who is one of his colleagues, who ends up going with him. But Takahashi ends up having a sort of grudge against him for the rest of the film because of it. So he finds that the group's headquarters is bombed and several of his men are ambushed and killed. And so him and his gang, Murakawa and his people, they flee to the seaside in a remote beach house, and they all indulge in a lot of lighthearted, silly games and stuff, which is it's a massive tonal shift.
They weekend at Bernie's without the Bernie part.
Yeah, literally. And so they all have a load of games until eventually the violence inevitably comes back towards the end of the film, and so it leads to a massive confrontation, paths clash, but also people's true characters get revealed, and it's a really weird clash of genres as well. But like Boiling Point, on its face you might see it as a typical Yakuza drama, but it has its own quirks, and it's just its character studies are really interesting, and much like Boiling Point as well, it also has a really unusual sense of humor as well.
It does.
Considering how morbid the subject matter sometimes gets, it has some of the most unexpected laugh out loud moments.
What I've noticed with Kurosawa is that, with Takeshi is that he's good at balancing intense things with humor right after them.
Literally,
he's always trying to lift the mood out of a scene very quickly, and he's good at it. And it's all done again with some deadpan stuff, which is his style. So
yeah, I'm not sure if we should just dive right into the specific scenes we like, but I will just say right now, we will be doing that.
Yeah.
But before, I want to say Murakawa, of course, played by Kitano. Again, he adopts that really iconic, deadpan sort of delivery that he did in Boiling Point, where
he's good at it.
He's just numb to everything. He's done everything. He doesn't really have a point to live anymore.
Yeah.
So
at the end of it.
Yeah. So he's just this bored centerpiece out of the whole film, and basically he portrays, and a lot of the main characters as well, all the Yakuza members, they have this iconic boredom throughout all of them.
Yeah, they've seen it all before.
Yeah, literally, because you have scenes where violence suddenly erupts, people start punching or stabbing and shooting each other, but they just get left alone to do it out themselves. The surrounding Yakuza members, they don't bat an eye, they just look at them bored, waiting for them to resolve it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happens around these guys, and they just accept it because, like you just said, they've been there before, they've seen it all. And with Takeshi's character, he's He's at the end, even earlier in the movie, he says, I'm thinking of retiring. So you
Yeah.
know from pretty much the get-go that this guy he's at the end there. He's looking for a way out.
Yeah, literally. You can say he's looking for maybe like a reason to die. He gives like a speech that dying will be a way to remove his fear of death, but if you fear death, then you don't really want to live. So he's sort of looking for a chance to die, you might say, in this film.
Yeah.
There's a really iconic scene. It involves these two youngsters in his groups, these like two 20-ish year olds who just spend their time mucking about on the beach. Like, but the thing is, the whole middle section is just the whole gang just chilling out at the beach.
It is way longer than I thought it would be.
Literally, you think this is a crime film, but actually a massive portion
I think
of
it's
it.
a camping movie.
Yeah, it's spent at the beach, just like with them just playing sort of gun games, and they're just partaking in silly banter, and it's just like a complete tonal shift from the chaotic Yakuza drama that happens elsewhere. But yeah, there's a scene where these two youngsters in this group, they're playing a game with a gun where they have to shoot the bottle off their head. But then, Mr. Murakawa comes in and he says, you know how you can change this up, and he basically challenges them to Russian roulette, and he scares the living daylights out of them because that's the only time in the film where he actually seems to be having a bit of fun. He starts to laugh, and as he shoots like an empty chamber at each one of them, until he gets to the last chamber. And they're like, I'm not playing anymore. That's the last chamber. And he says, okay. And he does rock paper scissors. He does rock paper scissors on them, and he loses. And he's like, okay, guess it's my turn. He smiles and then he shoots the chamber. But it turns out he removed the last bullet at the last second. Yeah, but again, he has a nightmare that night that he actually did pull the trigger and shoot himself as well. You have like a real nice, funny sort of in a psychopathic sort of way, Russian roulette scene. But then immediately after, he really starts to seriously ponder his thoughts on death and if his time has truly come. And if
he's talking to his girlfriend, I guess he gets a girlfriend, I guess, at some point in the movie, and he ends up having a conversation with her about that kind of thing. Yeah, and so he starts to debate if he actually should have filled that chamber with that bullet or if not. But yeah, earlier in. Because it's quite interesting, because that scene at the midway, that's the only scene where he actually has a bit of life to him, when he's actually faced... It's only when he's actually faced with death himself that he seems to get some sort of brightness and personality, weirdly. Whereas in the actual Yakuza dealings, to show, like, in a really sickly, humorous kind of way, to show how bored he's become with everything, where it's like, they're interrogating this... They kidnap and they interrogate this guy who didn't pay them the protection money, and so what they do is they get this guy who's screaming for help. They tie him to a crane and they dangle him over the sea at a pier, and like they all look up at him and there's like dunk him under for 2 minutes and then have a chat.
Literally this guy's just submerged underneath, all tied up and drowning, and then they're all bored looking, and then they just start to chat about how did that last business arrangement go, so what are you doing next after this? What should the next plan be? I'm not sure. Yeah, and then he just looks at his watch and he's like,
it's been 3 minutes.
Has it been 2 minutes? I think it has, hasn't it? We'll pull him back up, and then he pulls him back up, and he's like, you madman! What the hell do you think you're doing? You're crazy! And he's like, how about 3 minutes? Yeah, let's do 3 minutes. Okay, put him back under, and they put him back, and then they talk even longer. But I think he even forgets it's been more than 3 minutes. So obviously the guy drowns, and they're like, you should
deal with this.
You guys dispose of that. I gotta go to another meeting now, and see you later. It's just so. It's like it shouldn't be humorous, but just how ridiculous he makes it by contrasting such a horrifying sort of display as that, and with their just so their just lack of expression is in a really contrasting way. It's so over the top. I don't know how you could be so over the top with doing nothing. But it works. Kitano makes such a post-humorous sort of method of humor with
He's really good at what he does. And, that scene even ends on the image of this guy having been tied up to the end of this crane. It just lingers on that, on his body, kind of sitting there for a while after it. So this odd juxtaposition of, like you said, the humor part of it, and then the reality of this. They're still the Yakuza.
Yeah,
they're still
literally.
pulling some crazy shit, and
yeah.
But it's balanced well, and then like we said, it goes from that to camping the beach.
Yeah, and before that, because I don't know what starts the scrap, but like when they're all in the office, and I think it's two of their henchmen, they get into a scrap. I don't know why, but
so the three kids come in, right?
Yeah, because
and I think they're being introduced as new members, and one of the older members goes, "What are we doing? Why are we having kids here? Why are we doing this with?" And then one of the kids goes, "Hey, I'm serious," and stabs him in the stomach out of nowhere. He pulls a knife out.
Yeah.
And just wham.
It's one of the best bits of humor as well, because like, he flicks the knife, he stabs him, and then a massive fight escalates. You think someone's dead and stuff, but it turns out no, the guy is just only really badly wounded. And then it cuts to them on a bus. The old member and the young guy who stabbed him, they're both sat right next to each other on a bus, and the kid, he's eating a massive ice pop. He looks at him and he says, "Do you want a bit?" And then the guy who he stabbed, he's like, "No, my stab wound won't let that go down. Yeah. It's not going to go down well with what you just did to me." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, right, I'm sorry about that." And he keeps eating. It's just...
it's accepted, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's fair." Keep going.
Yeah.
It's a really funny exchange. It's quick.
Yeah. There's also a few tropes like that are just ridiculous as well. You have like another guy who joined, another member of the gang who's shows up in a lot of the beach scenes, and the only sort of interactions he has is when like Murakawa is just commenting on how bad his shirt is. Like,
so good. It's a terrible shirt.
You have at least 5 times where Murakawa just says, "You still got that shit shirt. Change that thing, will you?"
It's ugly.
Oh, yeah. It is, yeah. It's just like a really ugly red flower shirt.
It's great. It's
yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple times where Murakawa, the only times he seems to be enjoying himself is when he's pulling pranks on people.
Yeah.
And it's just these small, it's even addressed at some point where he's one of his, I guess, henchmen. The group, their gang, that they're all camping out on the beach with. He goes, are we done with these like childish things? What's up with all this? He said, yeah, okay, we're done. Immediately after, he's not. It gets him with another prank, and he's throwing these pranks out.
Yeah, he has this prank where he like digs massive holes in the beach, then he covers them with blankets. Yeah, I have a scene that goes on quite a bit. But after someone falls down, and then when they're like, God, fuck you, man. But then he laughs, and then they turn around and go. But then 2 more end up falling into 2 more of his holes on the way back, and it's just
it's really good. And again, it seems like he gets a kick out of messing with people.
Yeah, but I think the most extreme moment of contrasting serious with hilarious is a scene where there's this woman. She's the only woman who tags along with them, and there's a scene where one of the gang mates, Murakawa's taking a walk at night, and then he witnesses one of his gang mates just drag this woman out, and he attempts to assault her. And so Murakawa, he goes up and he just intervenes, and he just he just clocks him over the head. Yeah. He lays the gentlest headbutt ever. This guy comes up to him and says, "Are you watching me? You sick fuck, what are you doing?" And he's like, he just falls straight down, but he then pulls a knife on him.
You see a knife pop up.
Yeah. He gets in his face with the knife, and he just puts the knife in his face. He says, You think I'm not gonna use this? I'll cut you to bits, old man. What the fuck do you think you're doing? Yeah, literally, Murakawa just shoots it without seeing it. He fires 2 rounds into his chest, and then instantly after, he slowly falls down. He says, "I was joking." It happened so ridiculously quick. He's like, "I'll cut you up." I was joking.
Turn around. The guy doesn't immediately change heart.
It's amazing. But yeah.
Again, it's a weird juxtaposition. And she tags along for the rest of the movie. She's a fun character as well. She doesn't have a lot to do, but I think she helps Takeshi find a little bit of his humanity.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, she's a bit of a love interest for him, so.
Yeah, it's never really stated as to her sort of position in the film, but I guess it's one of those nice characters. Nothing's really laid out fully. It's just it's just a nicely human bit where you get a
is.
load of strangers just bonding together, just partaking in a lot of just light-hearted talks on life, and just partaking and laughing at each other's games and stuff. And it's a massive contrast between that beach scene and Boiling Point.
Oh, so much. It was good. Yeah, I think so. This is either his third or fourth movie, and Boiling Point was his second. I think this is a better movie than that one. I liked Boiling Point a lot, but I think that this one might be easier. I think, and a better constructed one. And it's an easier watch, and there's definitely a contrast where that one, Boiling Point, has those really intense kind of bits of violence, and this one does have a lot of chill time, and there is some violence in this as well, but it's not nearly as almost offensive.
I know. I think Boiling Point it's a bit too much in terms of trying to get a reaction out of the viewer, especially considering Kitano's character in that he's portraying a psychopath, but I think it was a bit too much at some points. So it seemed a bit like just a bit too reliant on shock factor, whereas this, it has the violence, it's in lighter doses, it's sort of...
I mean, it plays better.
It doesn't rely on it, it only adds to the whole feeling of the film, whereas Boiling Point, you have some of it worked, some of it, the violence was ridiculous and contributed to his real sick sense of humor, but other times, such as when, Kitano's character was just abusing his wife on and on. It's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, it seems excessive.
It's too much, man. I don't need to see that on too long.
Yeah.
But in this, it's funny because again, the whole beach scene, it takes up about 40 minutes.
It's crazy amount of time. It is literally half the movie.
And it literally the tone just goes other than that one scene where he shoots the boy dead for assaulting the woman. And
even then, that's really quick, and I wouldn't. That's not an intense bit like stuff with the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Or Greater.
Yeah, it's over really quick. But it just seems a lot more innocent compared to because the games that the two boys play. It starts with them. You think, okay, they're just a couple of violent boys just playing with guns, shooting at each other and stuff. Because they have that game where they shoot the bottle off their head. But then it gets more and more weird. They have this weird kind of sumo game.
Yes.
But it's really kind of fast forwarded. Then they do a lot of dance moves and
there was they were playing a game with a I can't forget his name. With the Kitano's character earlier, a minute earlier than this, where you have these two paper sumo wrestlers or whatever, and you bop them on a table, and whichever one falls over, you lose. And so then they build that exact ring on the beach.
Yeah.
And they kind of do this weird wrestle thing, or at least wrestle poses.
Yeah.
And then finally, they pull the pose of whatever those paper things were.
Those little paper figures. It's just
Takeshi and the other guys bop the ground and they vibrate.
Yeah, they just jolt around the place and real massive fast forward.
I wonder how long they did that in real time.
Yeah, no, it's a real nice sort of funny scene. There's a lot of kind of little nice jokes that are sort of intertwined with smaller bits, and it's
it really humanized him from just being these. Because clearly he's been through a lot. Obviously he's retiring, and he even talks about the first time he killed somebody, or how many people he's killed. It's plenty. He's done it a lot. He's done it most of his life.
Yeah, it's a weird scene where he says, he's honest with the woman. And she says, when did you first kill? And it said, in high school, it was my father. And he says weirdly, he wouldn't let me have sex or something.
Yeah, that's why he killed him.
And then nothing else is said of that for the rest of the film. It's like, what?
Holy,
okay, oh Jesus. But,
but you still feel for him because of what, that whole beach bit. Honestly, it really humanizes all of them.
Yeah, definitely. But as well, when it goes to even when it gets proper violent, the final shootout is actually just Boiling Point was a lot more in your face with it, but it's shown the climax in the film. Even if a film is generally more low key, there's usually a raised amount of explicit violence to the screen in the aftermath, in the final scene, in the final battle. But this, it weirdly completely goes against that, because you see him having one last massive confrontation Murakawa's character, and you can see the massive build-up. He walks up to the building with a massive machine gun.
Yeah.
He's about to go full Scarface on this, but he's about to assault the whole Yakuza building, and you think the violence is going to be unreal. But actually, what Takashi Kitano actually does is he actually just shoots the whole thing outside the building, and you only just hear the machine gun fire, and you only see brief flashes of light from the window, and you only get really quick glimpses into the upfront violence.
And it's all just like in darkness with flashes.
Yeah,
so you don't actually see anything.
Yeah, it's all just really dimly lit with only just like a few flashes from the machine gun showing the light. You actually see really little of this extreme violence that's happening, and I guess you could see that's a bit of Kitano's actual rare bits of. He's learning how to constrain himself at this point in his career. He's learned to use minimalism with the violence.
And it totally works.
Yeah.
And gets the point across. Like, you don't necessarily need all that. Violence has a time and place, absolutely, in movies. But, you know, in stuff like this, you don't need that to highlight what's happening.
Yeah, literally. If the whole film's theme is violence, by all means,
go ahead. We've seen one of those.
Go Tokyo Gore Police.
Exactly,
Yeah, whereas with this, no, if you're being a bit more meditational with it, go into the more sort of minimalist, sort of human moments, and you can see with this, it works a lot better for what he's going for.
All the times that people did get shot up, I mean, there was one bit in a bar, but other than that, it's usually kind of personal, or it's kind of one person getting hit with something.
Yeah.
You know, one person getting shot or this or that. There are two or three kind of bigger shootouts.
Yeah.
But you see those, I guess, a little better. But other than that, like, it's usually just kind of more personal things. And that when he lingers on the violence a little more, it's a more personal moment.
Yeah, definitely.
There's one especially on the beach.
Yeah, as well. And there's one it's ironically in a lift, and that's with two characters who have a massive personal vendetta against each other. So I guess you could see that's probably the most violent scene in the whole film.
Definitely.
But I guess you could say metaphorically all the tensions have been bubbling up because it's literally in the most claustrophobic environment ever. It's all in a tight lift, and there's like 8 characters crammed into the lift.
Yeah.
One of them notices the other, and then all the characters suddenly shoot at each other because it's two sides against each other. You see someone's like hand get shot off. You have 4 of his fingers get blown off by a magnum right in front, and until eventually all of them get messily shot up, and that's definitely the most violent scene in the film. But it kind of earns it because it's the most personal scene in the film, you might say. So we could say everything's been building up to that moment.
This was the boiling point of sorts.
Yeah, literally. But even then, it's literally the boiling point, relating to boiling point. Yeah, but you could say it's kind of well earned with how
I agree with that.
Less violent the whole film is up to that, and even then it's over really quick, and then it's back to the more human parts.
Yeah, I think all the violence is done very tastefully in this. None of it feels out of place. None of it is excessive, really. You know, it seems very, well, like I said, in its place. It seems very poignant it's very poignant when it happens.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, there was that one funny scene. Well, funny. It's when they do that shootout in the bar and they're all drinking Asahi's.
Yeah. No, this gold that we're drinking right now. I was like, no, don't waste it, man.
There are a bunch of unfinished beers on the table.
Yeah.
No.
Oh God, yeah. Let's see. Let me take a little flicky. You got any other scenes you want to talk about? Or like, I'm just
that scene of them in the. Oh, so actually, I wrote one thing down. It was near the beginning of the movie when Takeshi's talking to, I think it's one of the guys that ends up going with him. He's working as a waiter though, and he's wearing a shirt that says, "It's good to know we take our responsibilities seriously." And he's literally being talked to about changing his shirt to look like a waiter and properly be useful around the place. So it's just an ironic T-shirt. But there was that scene where that guy gets beat up in the bathroom as well.
Oh,
There's bits of, like we said, humor and violence. This was one of those exactly.
Yeah.
So when he gets beaten up by Takeshi's character, he punched the hell out of him. He's so beat up, he's laying on the floor, his face all bloody at the end of it, and the last scene you see from the bathroom is some dude trying to open the door, but he can't move it past his body. because he's just stuck in front of him. And so at certain point he goes, "Hey, let me out." He doesn't say anything, and then he just closes the door, and I guess he's still in there.
Yeah, literally.
You never know.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you just see like him you get a massive long shot of him just lying bloodied against the door.
Yeah,
someone's struggling to open it, and then the person just gives up and walks away, and he just still lies there. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that bit. That bit was great. But yeah. Yeah, so the next film he made after this was called Fireworks. I guess if you do another one of this, that should be the next one after.
Oh yeah, there was a couple of those scenes right on the beach just shooting each other with like Roman candles.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy all those like random games. It for a movie about the Yakuza and having vendettas and revenge plots.
Wow.
Like like you said, about 40 minutes of just none of that.
Yeah.
It stripped it all away. Excuse me. Stripped it all away, and everyone just got to know each other and got along, and it didn't seem like there was even an outside world. It felt like if they could stay there, they would have.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That was a glimpse of happiness.
It was. Yeah. Because like his next film was Fireworks after this. You might see that, if anything, that was a little indication to what comes next, that Fireworks game.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a funny scene. We were saying about how... obviously, it looks real that they used real fireworks because what this game basically is that you get the two sides facing each other at night, and they basically have a massive gunfight, but they use like firework guns instead. They shoot live fireworks at each other, and all this it's crashing, and there's a lot of sparks flying, but. Given that they actually probably did use fireworks on set, all of their
1998 this was released.
All of their terrified reactions are probably very real in that. They're all running for their lives and shouting in fear and that.
Definitely getting hit once or twice. They want to have burns from that one. They had to. Yeah, I was half a year old when this was released. April 10th, 1998.
That's 98. Goddamn, I was minus 3 years old. Goddamn. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, you even get a bit where when Murakawa, he even gets excited during that fireworks bit, and he actually just lets off 3 shots from his gun,
shooting his gun off.
wildly shooting as well.
One of the guys in the enemy team was like, "Who's shooting a gun?" What?
Sorry. Amazing. But yeah.
There's a lot of random shooting in this. They do a skeet shoot with a frisbee, and nobody's able to hit it. Murakawa does it.
Yeah, you see a guy innocently throw a frisbee in one scene. Then the next scene it cuts to him, and it's just Murasawa is just like trying to shoot at it in the sky, and they're like, "Yeah, you idiot! You didn't get one shot in." Yeah, but it's fun. You get a few scenes where it's just. The characters, they're just fucking with each other in a banterous way, and it's just, but it goes on for quite a bit of time. It kind of lets you sink into it as well. There's a scene where the two youngsters are hanging out, and just one of them's reading a magazine, and one of the guys, he's just playing with an action figure. He's putting it into all different types of poses and puts it in front of them. He's like, yeah, sleep with me, darling. And then he says, yeah, so like, you shagged my girl, how dare you? Then he just throws some little cute punches with the action figure against him.
He gives him a little kiss with the action figure.
And then he tries to get him to laugh until eventually, he gives in, and they break down laughing. Yeah, that was a fun scene.
I feel like I remember the beach bits and that even more so than like the first half where they're not there. I think that for some reason the pacing, it feels like it's a bit of a slow burn in this movie.
Yeah. I get you.
And even when they go to the beach, like it's still slow, but it feels more involved. Once they go to the camping stage of this movie, I can't really explain that, but maybe it's just because you get to know the characters at a deeper level.
Yeah,
so you start caring about them a little more, and then as it gets to the end,
Yeah, it very, very kind of loosely reminded me of the DiCaprio film The Beach.
Oh, really? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's a film where it's like DiCaprio, he goes to Thailand, and then he ends up stumbling across this hidden civilization of people who live in a paradise on a Thailand beach, and they all get along with each other, they sustain themselves, and they have fun, but eventually, people will start to have arguments, and it ends up being a sort of Lord of the Flies situation a bit. But yeah, so it has that same sort of like beach chemistry. You can see that scenes on the beach or films set on the beach, yeah, they have a trend of like just bringing out each other's chemistry and just allowing for some nice bonding time to take you out.
I spent a couple weekends on the beach, and it definitely works. I had an Easter camping session on the beach back home with like 12 friends. We're still friends to this day, and that was about 10 years ago. So
ultimate bonding time, bro.
Oh yes.
Walk down the beach, clears your head all the time.
So good.
Yeah.
Breathing that salty air.
Beautiful, yeah. To be fair, why are camping films always like horror films, by the way? I feel like that's just as good as my experience. I had a fucking great lads holiday with like a camping session. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Every film I've seen, it's always been like a massive grizzly bear attacks film or like a witch hunting film. Bro, why can't there be the first film where it's just people just chilling on a camp? Nothing evil happens. It's just
have a good time. Take some ayahuasca, have a good time.
Stop scaring people away from the thrills of nature, bro.
Yeah, man. Jaws did no good. Did no good for the beach.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, I tell you about that time I was in Florida. Did I? Where it's like I was on the holiday with my dad, and like we just finally drove all the way to Florida, and we made it all across the country, and like fuck hell yeah, we made it to the Florida beach, and then we just went into the sea a bit. But then it turns out that no one wants to go into the sea because there have been bull shark attacks everywhere.
No.
Yeah, so until like we only got like knee deep, and then we saw like these two massive buff guys who look like they hit the gym 5 times a week for like 30 years next to us. They were just like really carefully watching where we were in the water. If we took a step forward, they took a step forward. If we took a step back, they took a step back. They were scared shitless of the sharks there in Florida, so I guess, yeah.
You finally go to the beach and you're accosted by the shark.
No, yeah, you gotta, it depends on which beach you go to, I guess, but yeah.
Life's a beach, so
life's a beach, yeah.
Life's a beach and then you dive.
Yeah, true. Do you think that on the spot, bro?
No, there's a shirt. I've heard that for sure a while ago. Although I wish I could have. I wish I could have thought that.
I was thinking you're spitting there, man. You should be on one of my songs.
Yeah. Well, now that the exams are done, I can try to spitball lyrics.
Yeah, bro. Amazing. So,
I mean, hopefully I'll make at least as much money as this ultimately did. On its opening weekend in April 10th of 1998, it made $17,527.
Yeah.
And overall gross, it seems to have made $58,834.
Yeah, this is the first film that he made that actually properly got like some Western distribution. It won awards at the International Film Festival.
Yeah, it went to Cannes or something, didn't it?
Yeah, and well deserved, I think. Whereas we were both a bit shocked when Boiling Point, we found out it made like
$1,500,
$1,500. But yeah, you can see it had pretty much no West distribution.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are finally seeing
wising up to
Takeshi's greatness. Yeah, seeing he's the top G in the game. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I think it definitely deserved. I didn't know of the awards that it had won, but it definitely deserved them. Like this was a really enjoyable movie.
Yeah, definitely. The legendary film critic Roger Ebert.
Yes.
He gave this. He rates films on 4 stars, so he gave this 3.5, and he rated it as
well. Very harsh, I think.
No, it's out of 4.
Yeah, no, I'm saying he's a harsh rater.
Yeah.
And so he's rating it highly.
Yeah, I mean, you should see his review of The Human Centipede and Transformers 2. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They're brutal.
He did those too, huh?
They're brutal. But
to be fair, they're brutal to watch.
Yeah, but he noted it as one of the best films that came out that year, and he noted Takeshi as the hottest Japanese director at the time, and yeah, it's very rightfully deserved, I think. And I'm trying to get up this quote because it's from his review of the. Here we go. So if you want to know how brutal Roger Ebert can get and see how much he actually appreciates this film. On his review of The Human Centipede, the last sentence he did, Mr. Roger Ebert said, "I am required to award stars to movies I review This time I refuse to do it. The star rating system is unsuited to this film. Is the movie good? Is it bad? Does it matter? It is what it is and occupies a world where the stars don't shine.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You did not like that movie.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's not, to be fair, that movie, not fun.
No, not fun.
I've watched the first two of those. It's a trilogy.
No,
How do you make 3 movies about that?
I read the plot synopsis of all 3 of them. That was enough for me.
I watched the first 2, and then I read the plot synopsis of the third. I couldn't watch the third one.
Yeah.
The second one is awful.
I've heard, yeah.
It's really bad. It's really hard to watch.
They made like over 50 cuts of that film in the UK release, and
God. I'm not surprised. There's gross.
Yeah, I needed.
Don't, if you need take anything away from this this show, do not watch Human Centipede. The most you should.
I feel like I need to fucking shower after I watch those films. Yeah.
Even after talking about it.
God almighty.
Apparently, the director's family loved him. His sister and his mother loved those movies.
Okay. Are they sure they weren't just being polite?
I have to believe they were, but maybe they're just very supportive.
Yeah. Oh, well done. I mean, I guess he's made a film. Whatever kind of film it is, it doesn't matter. He's made a film.
He made a thing he made some moving pictures happen right now.
Yes. Actors were acting in front of the screen, indeed. Oh, amazing. But
yeah, this definitely beats that. I'll tell you.
I'd say it's quite a couple of points ahead of that, at least. I'd say.
Yeah, at least 3.5, according to. Yeah. Well, more than that.
Yeah. So, do you actually, if you want to keep doing these, I'm not sure if this studio will be open after this week, but I can ask. Should be though. But yeah, with the Japanese films that we've watched so far, is there one that you would like to particularly review next time? Or
you mean
like a Japanese film you'd want to watch in general?
There is one that we've already mentioned that I've never seen, the Seven Samurai.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a behemoth of movie. It's like 3 hours, but
it's 3.5 hours, but it passes by like nothing though.
I imagine.
Yeah, literally.
It's longer than Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, Endgame. No, we did not mention. Don't mention Endgame with that film. With any film, bro. No, I mean like don't mention Seven Samurai on par. It's on its own league, bro. But
I know it's one of the best. Or it inspired
yeah.
so much. We can talk about that.
Yeah, apparently, not that one, but Kurosawa's The Forbidden Fortress, the Hidden Fortress. That was the one that directly inspired George Lucas's Star Wars.
Yes,
film. Yeah.
Well, I'm always down to watch something that's all Star Wars related.
Yeah. If anything, if the next week is the final episode of this, at least with the recording booth in Newcastle, at least with like this setting that we have right now, that would be that's the perfect one to end it on. Actually, Seven Samurai. So yeah, we'll probably be watching that, reviewing that next week if we can.
Sounds good.
So yeah, bro. And do you have anything else you'd like to add, or?
I would, if you can, which it's not hard. I don't know how we found it, but you found it. Absolutely watch this movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Best movie ever.
Best movie ever, bro.
It's so good.
I feel like every week we find a new favorite. Yeah.
We do. Yeah. Well, I haven't watched one that I haven't liked yet. I mean, I know that I seem to like a lot of stuff. I'm pretty easygoing. But yeah, this one's a fun one to watch. Something tells me that most of his movies are gonna be probably pretty good. If his second was Boiling Point, and I like that a lot, and it was fun to watch. This is better than that, and it's just gonna keep moving.
I feel like you can see with Takeshi's films is that he gets more and more like mellow with his experience.
Yes.
The film that he made before Boiling Point, if I recall correctly, it was literally called Violent Cop.
Yes, it was.
The promotional picture is him just pointing a gat at the screen. So I think
I think he seems to enjoy his violence.
Yeah,
and I think I'm guessing as these movies keep moving forward, he finds the balance of humor and violence.
Yeah.
Even better and continues moving forward. Because it's cool just to see this one after Boiling Point and see how much better it is.
Yeah.
Like, just to see the trajectory he's done.
Yeah.
Even just over this short amount of work.
Yeah, it's always good to see like a director's vision change and improve as they go along. Yeah. Yeah, even if like their early stuff is still classic, seeing them try new stuff and take new dares, it's one of the best things.
You don't ever start by writing Dark Side of the Moon, you know what I mean?
No,
so you gotta get there.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
So just put that first word to the page. You'll get there. Keep going.
Know that shit down, broskies. Yeah, and yeah, we'll just say that we can call that maybe a wrap for this week.
Sure.
Or yeah, that's amazing. Well, I hope you all have learned something new with this week's session. Give Sonatine a watch. And actually, on that note, I should look at the English translation for the word sonatine.
Oh, yes.
I think it meant crush or something.
Well, the box office, not the box office, sorry, the art for the movie was a fish being impaled.
Yeah, a skewered fish.
Skewered fish.
It's
yes.
on the top of a pike on the beach. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a red background. It seems a lot more intense than I feel like the movie was, but...
Yeah, I guess, I don't know what kind of metaphor we can get. Maybe he just thought it looked cool.
To be fair, it does look cool.
Yeah. Honestly, my Internet Explorer's given me a lot of Sonatine means Sonatina. No, I don't think it does.
I don't think it does.
I'm a little suspect for that. But yeah. On that note, for all our amazing viewers, what am I saying? Viewers, listeners. Yeah, give that film a shot and let us know in the Instagram called Neal Japanese Cinema, Neal. Like, if you enjoyed this session and if you have any recommendations for next week, we'll probably be doing Seven Samurai, but let us know still. And let us know what you think if you give Sonatine a watch. And yeah, we'll catch you really soon. And yeah, catch us later, bros.
See you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers. Kampai, brother.
Kampai.
Haha.